Hey everyone, welcome back to the Old Charles today. We've got a real treat for all you coin collectors out there. We're diving deep into the United States half dollar from 1974, its value, history, and everything you need to know about this iconic coin. So, let's jump right in. The United States half dollar of 1974, also known as the Kennedy half dollar, is a coin that holds a lot of historical significance. First minted in 1964, this series was created to honor the late President John F. Kennedy, who tragically passed away in 1963. Since its release, the Kennedy half dollar has been one of the most well-known coins in the United States. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see the great American symbol of the eagle holding an olive branch, while the obverse features the iconic portrait of John F. Kennedy. The 1974 coin is part of a long-running series, but does it hold any special value? Let's find out. Now, the value of the 1974 half dollar depends on a few things: condition, rarity, and demand. So, let's break it down. For most of us, the 1974 half dollar is going to be found in circulated condition. In this state, the coin is typically worth around $3 to $5, which is pretty much its face value or a bit above it due to the silver content. If you have a coin that's in uncirculated condition, meaning it has no visible wear and retains its original shine, you might see values of around $10 to $15. However, the real value comes if you're lucky enough to have a coin that's graded MS 65 or higher. Coins in this condition can fetch up to $25 or more. Of course, wear and tear on the coin reduces its value. If your 1974 half dollar is heavily worn, you might be looking at a value closer to the $2 range, sometimes even lower depending on the condition. Now, another important factor is the silver content. Although the 1974 half dollar is primarily made of copper nickel, it still contains a small amount of silver. Prior to 1971, half dollars were made from 90% silver, but starting in 1971, they were reduced to a 40% silver composition. That means the 1974 half dollar has about 0.1479 ounces of silver. Because of this silver content, the coin's value is also influenced by the current market price of silver. As silver prices fluctuate, so does the intrinsic value of the coin. As of now, with silver prices around $25 per ounce, the silver content in a 1974 half dollar could add an extra $3 to $5 to the coin's value. So, if you're holding on to a 1974 half dollar, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on the silver market. If silver prices go up, your coin's value could also increase. Now, like most coins, the 1974 half dollar may have some rare variations that could affect its value. One of the most sought-after varieties from this year is the 1974 D double die obverse. Double die errors happen when a coin is struck more than once during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled. On the 1974 D half dollar, this error is most noticeable in the letters of Liberty and In God We Trust on the obverse side of the coin. Finding a 1974 D double die obverse in good condition could significantly increase the value. Coins like this one can sell for hundreds of dollars, depending on the condition and how pronounced the error is. So, if you've got a 1974 D half dollar, give it a closer look. It might just be a rare find. Now, if you want to make sure you're looking at a genuine 1974 half dollar, there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, check the date, obviously. But more importantly, inspect the mint mark. The D mint mark on the 1974 half dollar tells you it was minted in Denver, while the absence of a mint mark means it was minted in Philadelphia. If you're unsure whether you have a rare variation, the best advice is to get the coin graded by a professional. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can give you a solid idea of the coin's condition and value. So, there you have it. The 1974 half dollar might not be worth a fortune for most collectors, but with its silver content, historical significance, and potential rare errors, it's still a valuable addition to any coin collection. Remember, coin values fluctuate, so it's always a good idea to stay updated on the market. Whether you've got a few of these in your pocket or you're lucky enough to find a rare error, there's always something exciting about collecting coins. The 1974 United States half dollar is part of the Kennedy half dollar series, which began in 1964 to honor the late President John F. Kennedy after his assassination in 1963. The series has become one of the most iconic coin collections in American numismatic history. Here's an overview of the history behind this specific coin. After President Kennedy was tragically assassinated on November 22, 1963, the U.S. Mint sought to create a coin that would honor his legacy. The Kennedy half-dollar was first minted in 1964, with a design by Gilroy Roberts for the obverse and Frank Gasparo for the reverse. Kennedy's face on the obverse became a symbol of the nation's mourning, while the reverse featured an eagle, representing the strength of the United States. Initially, the coin was composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but by 1971, due to rising silver prices and a desire to cut costs, the U.S. Mint transitioned the coin to a 40% silver composition for circulation coins. The 1974 half-dollar continued the design that had been used since 1964. It featured Kennedy's portrait on the obverse, with the Latin inscription Liberty above and In God We Trust to the left of Kennedy's face. The reverse side depicted an eagle holding an olive branch, surrounded by a ribbon with the motto E pluribus unum, out of many, one. The 1974 coin, specifically, was minted during a time of transition. The United States was grappling with economic challenges in the 1970s, including inflation, the Vietnam War, and the oil crisis, which led to higher prices for everyday goods and services. Prior to 1971, the half-dollar was made of 90% silver. However, in 1965, due to a nationwide shortage of silver and the rising cost of coin production, the U.S. government reduced the silver content in the half-dollar and other coins. The 1974 half-dollar, like other coins minted from 1971 through 1974, contained 40% silver, which gave the coin a slightly lower intrinsic value than its predecessors. The 1974 half-dollar was struck at two mints, the Philadelphia Mint, without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D. Coins were produced in large quantities and released into circulation. Because of its relatively low mintage and ongoing circulation, the 1974 half-dollar didn't gain much attention at the time. Most Americans used the coin for regular transactions, and the Kennedy half-dollar didn't become the collector's item it is known as today until later years. One of the most notable variations of the 1974 half-dollar is the 1974 D double die obverse, a coin error that occurred at the Denver Mint. This error caused the design on the obverse to appear doubled, particularly in the inscriptions Liberty and asterisk In God We Trust. Asterisk This error was caused by the die being improperly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin with a distinctive doubling effect on the design. While the error was not widespread, coins with this double die are highly sought after by collectors and can be worth significantly more than a standard 1974 half-dollar. The 1974 half-dollar was one of the last to contain 40% silver, as the U.S. Mint stopped using silver in the coinage for circulating coins after 1970. From 1971 onward, the half-dollar was produced primarily in a copper-nickel alloy, which significantly reduced the intrinsic silver value of the coin. Today, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar holds value primarily as a collectible. Its face value is 50 cents, but because of the silver content and the rarity of well-preserved examples, particularly with the double die error, its value can be higher. A regular, circulated 1974 half-dollar with no errors typically sells for around $3 to $5, depending on condition. However, the 1974 D double die obverse can sell for hundreds of dollars in higher grades. The Kennedy half-dollar series continues to be issued today, though it is primarily minted for collectors rather than general circulation. The design has remained largely unchanged since its introduction in 1964, preserving Kennedy's legacy and serving as a reminder of an important chapter in American history. The 1974 half-dollar, though not particularly rare or valuable on its own, plays an important role in the history of U.S. coinage. It serves as a tribute to President John F. Kennedy, marking an era of significant political, economic, and social change in the United States. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned numismatist, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar remains a fascinating piece of American history. The condition of a coin plays a critical role in determining its value, and the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is no exception. Here's a breakdown of how coin condition affects the value of this coin. To understand how condition affects a coin's value, it's important to be familiar with the standard coin grading system. Coins are graded based on their appearance, detailing, and wear, using terms and a scale from 1 to 70, known as the Sheldon scale. The scale helps assess the level of wear and detail on a coin, and higher grades generally equate to higher value. The coin is heavily worn, with most details worn away, and only faint outlines of the design are visible. The coin is worn, but key details such as the date, inscriptions, and basic design are still discernible. The coin is heavily worn with some readable details, though the design is starting to fade. The coin has some visible wear but is still recognizable, with basic design elements clearly visible. The coin has some light wear, but most of the features, including fine details, are still clear. The coin shows moderate wear, but most of the features are well defined with only slight erosion of details. The coin has only light wear on the high points, and most of the design is still sharp and clear. The coin has minimal wear, and while there may be slight rubbing on the highest points of the coin, it's almost like new. These are uncirculated coins with no signs of wear. MS-70 represents a perfect coin with no visible imperfections, while MS-60 would have minor defects, such as small scratches. Most 1974 half dollars in circulation will fall into the good to very fine categories. These coins will show wear from handling and use, and the design features may have some flattening, especially on the highest points of the coin, such as Kennedy's hair or the eagle's wings. The details are quite worn, and you may have trouble reading the inscriptions clearly. The coin may have scratches or other imperfections, but it's still identifiable. You can still read the date and the inscriptions, but the overall appearance will be worn. You may see some fading in the design, but the main features are still visible. The coin is worn but not excessively so. The details of Kennedy's profile and the eagle's wings are still clear, though the coin will have noticeable wear. Uncirculated 1974 half dollars are much less common, as they were typically issued for circulation. However, coins that have been preserved well and kept away from heavy handling can achieve higher grades. The coin will have only light wear, and the details will still be quite sharp. You'll see minimal flattening on the high points, like Kennedy's cheek and hair, and the eagle on the reverse will have very little wear. These coins look almost like new. They may have a very slight amount of wear on the highest points, but the overall design will remain quite sharp and full of detail. The coin looks uncirculated but may have visible flaws like scratches, nicks, or minor defects that can be seen without magnification. The design will be sharp, but imperfections can affect the coin's appearance. Highly attractive coin with minimal imperfections visible under magnification. It may have a few light contact marks, but the details are sharp, and the coin retains its original luster. This is the sweet spot for most collectors, a perfect coin, with no visible flaws or defects. These coins are rare and highly desirable, fetching the highest prices in the market. MS-70 coins are nearly flawless and are considered the best possible example of a 1974 Kennedy half dollar. Several factors can influence the condition of a 1974 half dollar, including coins that have been stored improperly, such as in dirty or damp conditions, will show more wear and damage. Coins that are kept in protective cases or holders tend to retain better condition. Exposure to moisture, air, or chemicals can cause corrosion, tarnishing, or other damage that affects the coin's grade. Even coins that have never been circulated can have imperfections from the minting process itself. These might include planchet flaws, die errors, or strikes that are not perfectly centered. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar, like most coins, is worth more when it's in better condition. A typical circulated coin may be worth only around $3 to $5, while coins in mint state or with a double die obverse error can be worth $25 or more, depending on the grade. If you believe you have a higher grade 1974 half dollar, it's a good idea to have it professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC to get an official grade and understand its true value.